Welcome back to Rio de Janeiro and the 2017 Mid-Season Invitational. We're loading up for our third game of the day. It's Flash Wolves taking on SK Telecom T1. And let's talk about the fact that SKT have continued to tear through the world so far at the MSI. And Flash Wolves, though they had been the SKT killers before, have not shown that form so far in this tournament.
Definitely not. And I do want to call out one particular player on SKT because almost always the story is about Faker. Yesterday, Peanut was insane. He had the most kills at 15 in MSI history, and stats capabilities, I don't think anyone has ever had this many kills in any game I've seen before 15 minutes. So let's just watch it again.
Yeah, it was beautiful here, like especially on the highest level. We kept tracking the records, you know, could he get there up there and then eventually just dominating it. Mechanical prowess is the best thing about Peanut. I think that is what everybody on SKT kind of had already. There were questions around Wolf, but he really seems to have completed this lineup with a 4th additional carry.
And he's been absolutely massive. It's so funny to watch what he's been able to do with the early game. You look at a team like, starting it today, Gigabyte Marines, they have leads against every team at MSI between 15 and 35 except SKT, who've just been smashing early games and just smashing games overall pretty much the whole way through. I mean, it's a lot of the reason for that.
Yeah, level of dominance for SKT has been absolutely insane. Flash Wolves was actually a team that many people thought if anyone was going to have a bit of a chance against SKT, looking at 2016, they thought it would be Flash Wolves, but they really haven't showed up at the level many people were expecting at this tournament.
Yeah, historically, they have been the Korean killers. You know, they were the team that kind of took some games off SKT. We looked at their core between Karsa, Maple, and Sword Art, but they are not even rivaling their peers in this tournament as well. And then they're also showing other big weaknesses.
Yeah, and MMD, I think more so than anyone else, has been the most heavily punished. Teams are consistently camping him in the top lane. He's 0 and 11 in the first 15 minutes of the game with only 2 assists. So they've even said some pretty worrying things. There was an interview with Betty, their AD carry, who actually said they haven't adapted to the patch here at MSI. They want to play more shielding champions to try and get it around the bottom lane. But then he also said, oh, and because MMD can't play bruisers, Karsa just doesn't go up there. So it's been broadcasted. Every team knows what's happening, and Flash Wolves have yet to find an answer to him going on a tank, getting dove by carries, and the game falling out of hand.
Yeah, and symptoms of that have shown through with like an early Rumble pick early on. I believe they picked up Kled very early on and found out, hey, this champion actually has counters. Is not just a run down. Does play poorly into tanks. And lack of champion pool depth at an international tournament, the further it progresses will get punished harder and harder over time, because these teams, they're looking at what their opposition is doing when they play the Flash Wolves, and yeah, pretty dry and cut there.
Yeah, I will say that MMD did have a good Kled game when they were playing in the play-in portion of MSI, but whenever you have, like you say, that smaller champion pool, not only at MSI, but especially against SKT, they will hone in exactly where they need to and crush you.
Yeah, it's so fun watching teams that are truly excellent like SKT, because not only can they research you and prepare the bans, but they can research you and prepare the counter pick, saying, we'll leave up that exactly Kled because we know Huni can beat it with his suite of tools available to him, because he's practiced up, he knows what's going on, and I'm always a fan of teams that won't just ban what you play, they'll counter pick it and crush you for it.
Yeah, and even if that doesn't work out, if you magically win a draft against SKT, still got to play the game, and these guys always find ways to innovate, and it's much harder when you're at the top to keep improving, because you're only teaching everybody else how League of Legends is supposed to be played, and that is what's so impressive for me, for the SKT organization over time, is that they find meta shifts, like they whipped out the little Karma, they consistently have been optimizing kind of the map movements. I think the only time SKT has been behind in terms of macro is when they didn't adopt like the EU lane swap, but it took like 2 weeks, and then they, done, learned.
Yeah, and to expand a little bit on that, every team at MSI is a great team in their region, right? And it's absolutely absurd that SKT can make other teams look like they're just not even close to the same level, because they're not. And even within Korea, SKT 3-0'd the finals against KT Roaster, a team of superstars that was built to defeat them.
Yeah, KT was built to destroy SKT.
We're seeing something special with this SKT team, and they're going to try and make an undefeated MSI.
Yeah, and they've definitely been like historically the best team in the world. We'll see if they can keep that run going, of course, as we get ourselves onto the rip. Let's check out the starting lineups. On the blue side are the Elementals Flash Wolves with MMD in the top lane, Karsa in the jungle, Maple in mid, Betty in the bot lane alongside Sword Art, and the Coach Stake.
Yeah, they have the gargantuan task to play against SK Telecom T1, which can be a very fast game. Top lane, Huni, jungle, Peanut, mid, Faker, 80 carry, Bang, and then 4 carries, and they're supported by a 10 out of 10 in all aspects, Wolf.
In his own words, 10 out of 10 in all aspects when compared to other Korean supports. Can't wait to get into this pick and ban phase. SKT have really continued to evolve, as we keep mentioning. Huni as well. Last time he was even really on the international stage was 2015. He actually took SKT to 5 games on that Fnatic squad, and he's really just having a career split and maybe even a career tournament with how well he's played here.
See what it's going to be. Now we are into picks and bans for this game. No surprise, SKT with that 6-0 record did beat Flash Wolves last time around, and Flash Wolves hoping to be one of those top 4 teams. They are power ranked to be 2nd or 3rd. Do you keep up with the fact that G2 and TSM are sitting on 3 wins themselves?
And I love these evolutions. In a meta where it was always Caitlyn, Varus, Ashe. You know, pick 1, maybe ban 2, and you get the edge. Twitch kind of emerged in these protected carry comps, and now Twitch stayed even when the protection kind of faded away. Now they're just early banning Twitch here against SKT. Do not want to deal with the unpredictability once Bang starts roaming in an open map.
Yeah, do not want to give that over, even though Betty played it in the last time they matched up against SKT. Definitely understand the ban. They're trying to get rid of any type of split push threat that Huni would have. Fiora and Kennen banned away.
Maybe they want to go back to the Kled. They say, well, Fiora counters it, but what if we ban it, pick the Kled? Now what, Huni?
You'll have some.
Yeah, there's still the shed that I think you expect was it pulled out right there.
Yep.
You see?
Plenty of split pushes available. It was Fizz and Kog'Maw that Faker and Bang played last time these teams met. One final ban to come through, and you simply cannot ban out all possible fighters and all possible assassins. Gragas taken away from MMD, and now we get to see what's going to happen here. Gragas, one of the better fighters of the tanks. As far as handling the 1v1, Karma comes through.
Yeah, pretty obvious first pick here with 1 shielding support banned away. Lulu is gone. Now they can trade junglers.
Yeah, this is where meta-wise you would expect Graves 80 carry, and then it's all up to preferences, but for Telecom, why not just pick a jungler here for Peanut's Lee Sin?
Yeah, Peanut has been putting on an absolute display on Lee Sin. Was undefeated on it domestically, but they don't need to play Lee Sin every day if they have a composition in mind. Graves and Lee Sin are fairly interchangeable based on preference, and if they think Karsa's Graves is stronger than Karsa's Lee Sin, then they're going to take Graves away.
Bold Huni Rumble pick, especially into what could actually be, as much as we joke about it, the Kled, because it's a fine matchup, especially if you can have Karsa visit there early. He said in the interview that Karsa doesn't go top. He has done it in the finals versus AHQ. He went there with Lee Sin.
If I was Flashers, I would pick Lee Sin Kled right here, just because they're almost absolute certainty they can get the Rumble. They've been able to play Kled. It's something that can play more to the meta. Lock in the Lee Sin. We'll see what the last one is.
You gotta get your top laner here if you're Flash Wolves, because otherwise you'll get double squeezed and it'll be even harder.
It's really interesting because you can go for Fizz, which is a similar situation. It's even a flex pick. You can maybe give it to Maple and look for a different matchup. Maybe you can pad that pool a little bit here. But the question is, how much can you trust MMD to play a split pusher against Huni? You expect Huni to win the lane, and then you've got to be able to do something with the more extended map. Carson's got to give him some warding support at some point. Not that they can't do it, but it's going to be hard.
I think Freak brings up a good point here, though, in the ability to flex this Fizz, especially when you're playing against Faker. You may deny him the early Syndra, maybe he plays into you anyways, but at least remove some flexibility in the draft from SKT.
And it confuses the bans a little bit. You don't want to ban a top laner or a mid laner here, and prevents a pinch if there is one. They can still pick the Kled later, but it's not worth it to ban. I want to point out the Nami pick, though. Wolf, probably the best Nami in the world right now, is still a good laner into Karma. So being able to play Nami at this level allows you to kind of give one shielding support over and still have a good support on your side.
It always has been considered kind of the pseudo counter pick to Karma, and that is why they were willingly leaving it open. It is no surprise that the Flash Wolves pick Karma first rotations. SKT had the answers ready. This is all pretty planned out in their regard.
I want to point out the Thresh ban coming through from SKT, though maybe they didn't know what they wanted to ban in the first place, but consider that Karma's already been picked. I guess they're respecting the fact that maybe Maple goes for Karma mid, and there's still a support left up, thinking about what might be good into Nami otherwise. And with double flex pick, it certainly can be a possibility. Caitlyn now off the table as well. We'll see who gets grabbed.
Yeah, I wonder. Maybe an early Varus is what ends up being left open. Varus Nami into Ashe Karma. I feel like you could punish that pretty well, but even if you play the opposite, Ashe Nami into Varus Karma, all playable.
Yep. Skill matchup as it is.
Yeah, it's
what kind of style they play.
Just keeping Betty away from the safe ADs here. Ashe and Varus, while they can be long range, do not have the dashes to get away.
Yeah, and that forces it pretty well too. You know, Huni playing the Rumble with the Equalizer, very good against these static 80 carries. It doesn't matter whether it's a Varus or an Ashe. Like, Kaelin could at least 90 caliber out the Equalizer and contribute to the fight.
I really like this Echo Band because with Fizz picked up and Echo Band away, it sets up a really easy Syndra take for Maple. You assume Fizz goes top, Karma goes support. He gets to blind the Syndra with most of the counter picks not available at all for Faker to pick. He's got to go somewhere else with it. There was the Varus picked up as you predicted. Good call on that, and we'll see what comes in next.
I mean, it was a 50-50. You saw him hover both, so
sure.
I do like the Varus a little bit more because I think it lanes slightly more aggressively into the Ashe. It allows you to leverage Nami's poke sustain just that little bit more, especially on the caliber of a Bang & Wolf lane.
Yeah, it's always difficult to lane against Bang & Wolf. Betty and Sword Art not having the best tournament. I think I agree with Freak here. The Syndra could very well come through.
So downside of flexing so heavily on blue side, you got to reveal eventually. Going up against Faker. I do like the draft here overall from the Flash Wolves.
There's a lot of really cute synergies. I really do like how a lot of this went through. And now, yeah, Orianna, typically a bad matchup into Syndra, but it's still one of his best champions, and it fits the lineup. It's a lot of AoE, a lot of crowd control. They can jog pile area effect damage down.
Look, when your shockwaves are about 10 or 20% bigger than everybody else's, you just pick Orianna every single time.
Faker willing to do it, and has always been willing to do it. He'll play all this stuff. He'll throw at the Master Yi mid and have the Olaf counter pick to Aurelia like he has had at past international tournaments. But here, just pick the Orianna. At any point, Faker is a huge threat on it.
And then we start tallying up the pushing lanes here. Rumble has the push on Fizz early on, but Fizz always had that kill pressure if Karsa can visit. It's a good thing about Lee Sin as well. He tends to do well, even if he has to gank lanes that are already pushing in, you know, can surprise in multiple angles, ward dashes here. It is crucial, though, that Karsa gets a good early game, and that is also what propelled them forward domestically so often, you know, a little visit here and there.
Yeah, and the Fizz can do very well into Rumble. We've seen it before. Huni plays up so often, and if Flash Wolves is willing and trying to adapt to the way this tourney is played, this is the path forward.
And I think the top side of the map is where you play right now for Flash Wolves. Maple, one of the few mid laners who I think can stand up against Faker as far as a 1v1 matchup, especially with champions considered. And we do think that Karsa is a great jungle as well and can match up against Peanut.
Let's start painting the dream then. Early gank top by the Lee Sin, gets him ahead, and then pair up with Syndra, push in on level 6, go top again, camp the hell out of Huni while your bot lane hopefully sustains and survives, and you don't run into that Peanut guy. That has to be the strategy for Flash Wolves here.
SKT don't have any guaranteed crowd control on the bot side. You can flash the bubble, you can flash the Varus ulti. That bot lane from Flash Wolves can push, and if the Graves shows up, they can get away with it most likely. We'll see if that can happen here. Flash Wolves down but not out, absolutely looking to get a revenge win over SKT and keep that LMS Pool 1 hope alive. And here we go into the game. SKT 6-0, hoping to close out the last 4. Flash Wolves hoping to keep pace with the rest of the top 4.
Yeah, Huni right now, 10-0 on this Rumble, including 3 games at MSI. Definitely a comfort pick, and that is only this year. And historically, he's played his champions so often. He definitely mastered it by now.
Yeah, and pay attention to the amount of pressure that Huni applies on the map in this game. I was looking at the forward percentage stats earlier, and that's the percentage of time you're above halfway in between 0 and 15 minutes, so still in the early game. Huni is on the enemy side of the map 40% of the time, which is absolutely absurd for any laner, but he's been making it work so far at MSI.
Especially considering, like, when you recall, you're forcibly on your side of the map for about 40 seconds. You have to walk back for the most part. And definitely an aggressive player. We'll see if that does get punished. Peanut right now, just chilling in his own jungle. Nice poke right there from Bang.
Quite a few pundits were looking at the WPM, wards per minute from SKT as well, seeing significant decreases on everybody except Peanut, because Peanut's playing so much Lee Sin, obviously. And part of what it has to do with it is just that they don't have to base this often. They're winning so hard and they're not getting pushed as hard. Like when SKT faced off against KT or any other strong Korean teams, they were challenged and at least have to match a lot of bases here to get the right times and slowly bleed out their opposition. But in these games, they can lane very often for very long times.
Yeah, interesting start as well here, invading for an early blue buff steal.
What it can achieve, potentially, is force the map into vertical jungling, and if you have to protect a losing matchup like the Fizz, and your bot lane is fine with sustain, it's actually going to mean that Karsa, even if he wants to go top, can't do it efficiently. Yeah,
and looking at this start from Karsa, does not get a good pull whatsoever from Maple. Syndra actually backs away because Faker had gone missing in the mid lane, so right off the bat, you can see Flash was already getting dictated to by SKT.
Yeah, there's 2 camps on the Graves, 1 camp on the Lee Sin right now, and we're only just started.
Heck, it's only half a camp. He didn't even finish the large draft there. Sure, he gets level 2. Sure, he gets 60, 50 gold out of it, but it's still not ideal.
Yeah, and we've seen this go wrong before. I mean, Flash Wolves know that the blue has been stolen, so you feel a big pressure to get the enemy blue to prevent a 3-buff. And oftentimes the Graves will kind of rush over to that side, so you can see all these things that Flash Wolves is doing to try and secure the blue buff. But really, Peanut's having a field day. He cleared 2 camps, he took his time, and now he gets to full clear his vertical side.
Yeah, that's the beauty of a simple macro move where you're essentially not doing anything tricky. You're just hitting a camp, a minion that you would hit anyways, somewhere else on the map, and you get a big advantage. Karma had to roam up to assist Karsa right there. They're losing lane pressure, which means Bang is not getting traded out of some CS. You know, it all kind of adds up right there.
Of course it does. Peanut is exactly 1 full camp ahead. They've taken 1 buff, 2 buffs. It's just rough stuff right now, of course. Level 3 versus level 2. It's a big lead for Peanut. Karsa trying to keep up as best he can.
That's the nature of this Lee Sin Graves matchup. It's all about pacing, clear times, call it what you want, you know. The Graves fast clears, the Lee Sin has to do a couple camps and then get some gangster through efficiency. And I would see Jet's favorite thing.
Control the blast cone.
Gotta care about the blast cone.
Bottom lane and in top lane. Fizz actually does it really easily because you can just pull over the wall and hit it, but Huni very consistently does this. Notice on the other side, blast cone hasn't been controlled. Peanut would have an opportunity to a gank if Flash was continuing to push up.
He's waiting for them to push up again, obviously respecting the counter gank. Also doesn't wait around too long. The wave is in the right spot, you know what? Wait for 4 seconds, is the jungle there? No, base immediately, you know, keep up the efficiency.
And worth noting, of course, these players can usually call out when Sword Art or Betty leaves lane to go put a ward down. You say, hey, he didn't push up to the turret with his teammate. He probably went over to go ward that. If you satchel, it's not going to do anything for you, don't bother. And you see Peanut stays on the other side of the wall and recalls safely. Now, this game is equal in gold, so despite the fact that there has been a significant out-jungling, I would say, from Peanut in the very early game, the gold basically neck and neck. Mid lane equal, bot lane equal, top lane equal as well.
And we immediately see something that the Flash Wolves do well, though. 2 control wards, 3-5 minutes already in the inventories. These guys love combining control wards to get areas of fog of war that they then use to either put pressure on the map or just generate picks where they hide in the fog of war.
Yeah, far and away the most control wards of any team here at MSI. Maple actually buys on average 10 control wards per game, which is more than double that of any other mid laner. So that can be a path to victory. Hasn't worked out great for them so far.
Scar's actually placing a TP ward right there. Oh, Bang is super low.
He saves on a summoner heal, gonna land the Q. Karsa, I think, predicted a flash, predicted a juke, and Bang didn't do it, just hits the summoner heal. He's gonna be fine on that one. Some pressure bot lane, but that's a flash down for Karsa.
Man, the sidestep confidence there from Bang, and also not healing at first, so he gets a little bit of move speed from his heal, gets the flash out of Karsa. Not a good trade they took in lane, but he's still up on CS, and now they're gonna go for a dive. MD wants out of there.
He has to actually summoner TP away from the gank, and Peanut didn't have enough auto attacks left to kill him off.
Oh, imagine if he had a red buff trailing there. That would be insult to injury right there. And again, we talked about it, how this Fizz matchup is great into Rumble with the early gank. That was the dream we were painting, and in a simple strike early on, the vertical juggle forces the gank to be on the bottom side, but it fails here. This is the hesitation, or like the difference between a montage moment and honestly a fluke.
Yeah, absolutely trying to predict the flash to the other side of the turret. A lot of players, when Lee Sin flashes over the wall, are thinking, I got to flash Q right away, but prediction goes wrong. Bang ends up healing and actually not really juking, he was just on his side of the turret. He stopped moving.
At least something.
Can't get the stun on a Faker. You saw Faker running up and left just enough to not line up with Maple's E. And that gank's not going to happen. Ghost is down, of course.
And this is the difficulty when you're trying to research matchups. You can't open a Faker frog. I mean, you just can't. He'll always be at least even CS in losing matchups, or he'll be ahead randomly, and it's just so hard to see.
He's League of Legends' best player and has been for years on end, basically. And everyone knows to respect him, respect his prowess, and any choice he makes, every mid laner in the world goes, maybe I should try that too. They'll always try. Everyone knows this man knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and what's interesting is Flash Wolves has played against SKT for about as long as any team would have. Maple, Karsa, and Sword Art actually played against SKT in the 2013 Worlds quarterfinals as the Gamma Bears, but trade in the mid lane.
Big trade at that. Faker nearly taking down Maple. Mana pool low enough, but watch out. He's got 100 just now. You can't QR or do much else.
That's Flash.
Can Maple get the chase? He has Flash himself, but didn't have mana for the Q to follow up, I believe, so can't go for any more.
Makes you wonder why Sword Art did not elect to trade his Flash for Faker.
Yeah, if you flash exhaust, Faker must flash away.
And even then, there's a chance you could get the kill afterwards because Maple would have undodgeable skill shots on the way through. I agree with that. I think that should have been a flash for Sword Art.
Then again, maybe he's just like, Faker without flash, can't play safe, I don't want to overextend. I don't need the guy that ints because I used my flash somewhere else. You know, it's so hard.
Flash into Faker because the Shockwave has the threat.
Oh, here comes the fish when he puts the ulti down, layers it pretty beautiful, the kick to get him off, but that's going to be the kill picked up. Why did Huni even bother flashing? First blood to Karsa.
Flash has been the story of this day. Betty, though.
Speaking of flashing, why not actually hit the button, Betty?
Yeah, is this the best Nami in the world, or is this Betty not flashing in time?
It's not flashing in time. There is no reason you do not flash that bubble. Huge mistake out of Betty.
They definitely don't flash after. Uses both summoner spells, still falls, and the advantage that Flash Wolves has gained in the top lane ends up being traded for an SKT advantage at the bot side.
But MND is still in the game here. He gets the early. Sheen potentially, he needs to leave his mark here. Maybe Maple can get some pressure mid and roll on top. That is the win condition right now for the Flash Wolves. Let's watch this again.
Yeah, Huni had cleared the blast cone, but Lee Sin can just board jump over the wall. Late flash, nice secure right there by Karsa. Watching the other side.
He has so much time. There's no way you outrun that. It's not even close.
Already slowed by the Nami E. Varus just auto-attacking straight away. Great combo by SKT when they knew that Sword Art wasn't going to be there, and it has to be either Betty farther back in the first place, just wait for the wave to crash against the turret, or flash. They're getting handled in that bottom.
They are 900 gold advantage out for SKT, and that's with the fact that Flash Wolves got first blood. So there's 1,000 extra gold worth of farm so far in this game, and it's clearly not in the top or mid lane. Rough stuff. Bang and Wolf pretty securely League of Legends' best bottom lane right now. And certainly some are mistakes, but handling their opponents.
And that's what they need to do. Punish whenever the support goes missing to help people deal with Faker. They will get a lead in the bottom lane. Whenever somebody goes missing or roams to deal with Huni, Faker and Bang and Wolf will take it up there. That is what SKT is so strong at. You can only attack the parts, but the sum generally tends to get ahead.
Yeah, and you just have to think about the dynamics of the team. Faker has the massive reputation, but Bang was the player who had the most DPM of any player in the LCK this year. He really has been the star player. Here comes another combo.
Lots of damage onto Betty, who chooses to stun the Nami and just dies for the CC chain. Beautiful ultimate from Bang. Beautiful layering by Wolf. Art in the bot lane here for SKT.
That is just utter beauty. Bang with the wall shot. He hides slightly around the wall, probably in fog of war right there as the minions were approaching. Gets a straight line on the Betty. And then Wolf just did the math right there. Wave into flash bubble. This is just synergy at its finest. And they were actually, there was a Reddit comment. I can't vouch for the validity of the quote, but they were asking why Bang and Wolf don't play duo queue anymore. Well, they've played over 5,000 games together anymore. They don't even need to do this. And also, Betty, he was trying to find Bang. Found him.
Oh man, he did. That's not the way you want to fight.
That's unlucky.
Unlucky.
Just really excellent play, of course. And not a lot of places you get to hide anymore. Betty now the butt of the joke. The recipient of a lot of damage now. SKT's bottom lane has certainly done well for themselves.
40 CS down.
Yeah. Flash left to find their advantage elsewhere. They got the counter pick at mid. That's not working. They got the counter pick top lane. They're trying to make it happen.
Yeah, I can't speak of this out of experience. But you must go down 40 CS once in a while, Freak. What do you do?
Keep feeding. Is how it works for me. It's very hard to come back with the fact that SKT can force the fights is the problem, right? If Graves shows up, you're just dead if you're on your turret. It's such a difficult situation to be in, and SKT can leverage that repeatedly. The fact that summoners are still down for Betty, no heal, no flash. It's a source of gold. It's a mine just waiting to get a pickaxe.
Oh man, that lane is so out of control right now. And interestingly enough, Flash Wolves would want to play towards the top side of the map. Still, Huni's flash has been down. Karsa yet to make a repeat attempt and is worried about that bottom turret just because of the amount of gold that can go over and how Bang can take over the game.
And Huni has developed in a very good defensive player as well when the situation needs him to be. So Flash Wolves, they're trying to patch out up this bottom side here with the Lee Sin presence constantly lingering for a counter gank, and Huni is just giving respect where it's due. Now he's even roaming to mid lane. Maple's leaning so far to the left that he may actually get surprised. He backs off.
Nice, no pain on Maple just yet. Had a bit of action in the mid lane, but nothing really permanent so far. See if Flash can get back to the top side. Ignite is back for MMD. Huni's still missing his flash, but only for a few more seconds. This means, like, that flash timer is the timer of how long it's been since Karsa's last gank top lane. It's a flashless rumble that is tower diveable. It's a very switch champion, and it's been 4 minutes since anything.
And the way pressure cascaded is really fascinating. Huni moved to mid lane, allowing Faker to trade ultra aggressively, which Maple then read is like, okay, Rumble's missing, I'm gonna yield. That actually prompted an invade for Peanut to then steal away the Raptors, and because Kars has been hugging bot side for so long, these two camps on his left side, these Wolves and Grump, has been up for absolute ages. I don't think Kars has actually farmed a camp in well over a minute and a half.
Yeah, he had the experience lead, but Peanut is very close to a full level ahead of him if he can get just another camp, probably get that off of Raptors. And even pacing-wise, he's not going to beat him to top lane anymore at this point either.
Flash back off cooldown the full 5 minutes, didn't have mastery for it. Peanut just doing the farm right now. Gets revealed by a hawk shot, at least Flash Wolves knows where he is, but if they can even use that information is an entirely different situation. Faker going to play for control wards, doesn't see any. It's okay, it's clear, I can walk top if I want to.
And I wonder if it's worth for Flash Wolves to actually swap out his bot lane. Just go top and look for like a 3-man dive on the Rumble. The problem is when you do that against a top lane champion that can burn the wave like Equalizer, you lose too much tempo. So they're so gridlocked in their current situation.
Yeah, unless they can pull off the dive right away on the Rumble, then maybe that pays off. But MMD is supposed to be winning the matchup, and if you put him into a 1v2, Fizz is terrible 1v2s compared to a Rumble. It's not a great trade if they can't get the kill for it.
Yeah, they have to almost go for like the split map dive, right? Where Fizz stays, fakes, haha, I'm getting
wait
traded
the brush,
upon, suddenly
max range.
the bot lane arrives. But then SKT pushes this like feeble turret over, and suddenly it's over. So for Flash Wolves, they're running all these scenarios through their head. They're not finding an answer.
As Zach, that's the thing that SKT does to you. They have a small way of pushing their advantage, and they leave very few openings for you to get any of your ideas across the board. I'm interested right there. SKT didn't go to finish the bot lane turret. Flash Wolves trying to get a kill onto Wolf here.
Well, they do get Wolf. Ooh, jukes! Oh. The Sonic Wave just barely. He was slowed for a bit longer, but Carson couldn't land it, and unfortunately, he's not getting a lot of the ganks off just yet.
Also, his bubble timing, in case he got hit by QQ spam, the bubble would have interrupted the Lee Sin there. Like, he's really on top of his money there.
Yeah, little timings and the small jukes is something that, you know, as much praise as we heap onto SKT for their macro decision making and champion select, their ability to sidestep skill shots is the highest. Watching Jin games at Worlds was insane with SKT. They almost never got hit by the Jin W.
Whenever it gets cast, it's like they're doing a group dance effort where everybody jukes to the left or the right. Like the penta jukes on Jin Ws were so satisfying to watch because they know it's coming. They see the cast animation like, you know what, I don't even care if it's going to hit me. They all preemptively juke.
It's the best team in the world for a reason. Even the individual players are at worst top 3 in their role, you've got to imagine.
Ooh, arrow.
Arrow's going to land this time on Wolf. Plenty of damage here. Does have flash, but can he get over the wall? Yes. But the Q's going to land this time around. Kars is able to secure it. Flash rolls back on the board for the first time in a while. Only 1,000 gold apart, and this is certainly a much more competitive game than last time.
That's what it takes. Yeah, Wolf was actually over-invaded right there. Looked like he was trying to set up a play on the bottom lane. Didn't even get the deep vision, and this actually allows Flash Wolves to get aggressive. MMD, unanswered.
Oh, and Faker! We talked about the best players in the world, but that was not even close to that Flash being on the wall. Suddenly, large mistakes from SKT.
Yeah, and if Carson and Maple are not going to move towards MMD, well, then he just comes to them. He surprises that play entirely with a fantastic teleport here.
Maybe we should comp game. Maybe we should compliment SKT more. The caster curse for like, man, best team in the world. No one does anything wrong. Several mistakes in a row now. And first turret to Flash Wolves means a gold lead, up 500. It's small, but it's something.
Yeah, and Huni, because he was respecting this matchup in the top so well, Fizz could be in the brushes. He wasn't actually actively pushing. So he only got about 200 odd HP off that turret.
But in typical SKT fashion, just when it seems like the other team is winning, they're not. SKT gets the turret and the bottom lane regains the gold lead. But we're going to watch this nice play.
Yeah, he checks if anybody's there. Well, turns out Fizz is, and then yeah, you have to flash before the Fizz happens.
Yeah, he actually had about another half second on the fish to walk closer to the wall. Faker did not want to miss that flash. A very rare mistake we'll see from him.
Happens to the best of us, happens to the worst of us. MMD back in this lane, only though got assists. So as far as the fact that he's been part of 2 very important kills, it's been low income for him. So he hasn't really shifted his item lead over Huni very much. As you've seen, Huni's been able to actually garner a gold lead and some turret damage for his matchup.
Yeah, well also the roam he made was not matched by Huni. So Huni got to shove about 2 full waves into the turret. Zoni's Hourglass as well, defense against the fish. If MMD wants to leave again and Huni matches, or doesn't match, the turret goes down.
Yeah, it's down below half HP right now, about 40%. SKT starting up on the mountain. Drake, they're turning off in this one right now. No rush just yet, but we'll see.
It's kind of a weak map moment from Flash Wolves when Betty was catching that wave in the bottom lane. So they were kind of outnumbered right there. Now it seems to be just an objective trade here. With SKT tunneling very hard on this Dragon, having Huni hold mid, but the top lane turret was under pressure. So the crossman could be Maple going top.
They look for Huni. He's going to pop the Zonies to get rid of the unleashed power, but there's still going to be enough unleashed here as Karsa takes the kill. 3 for him with the Q in the mid lane.
And this is big. In addition to that turret for Dragon trade right now, there's a kill on top. Plus, there's a 4-man siege building in the middle lane, and there is no tower left in the bot lane to trade.
And this allows Flash Wolves to actually force SKT into some bad decisions because they can take full control of that top side of the map, and there will be a flashless defender in that lane because Orianna can side lane, but it's not a great side laner, so it's not like they have a LeBlanc they can sub into that top lane that is less vulnerable. This is a thing that Flash Wolves can actually play around here.
Not going to stick for turret damage, though. Could have gotten some autos off. MMD, though, burned his mana pool just to push the wave in and let them do a little bit of chip. More Flash Wolves are coming in, though.
Bait is being set up here.
It's because they have the vision control up in that top side right now. They can see anyone coming through the jungle. And that ward's even going to catch the people coming through the lane.
There's Wolf. They know it's 2 exactly. There's 3. They know how many are defending. Can they get the play? Not going to land the stuns. That turret dangerously low, but they don't go for the kill on it just yet. Flash Wolves back off.
Yeah, a little hesitation there. MMD wanted to do the tempo play, which was basing, but then technically this turret could have fallen.
But if someone made that call 3 seconds earlier, hey, we're going to go for this play, that turret dies.
Yes.
So a missed call is the reason that turret is not dead right now. And now Benny chased down by Huni, flashing away. He's not going to make it out of this one, I don't think. He's trying to run, and actually he's going to be fine. Huni does not want to turn the ulti on.
You can actually W flash on Ashe. That's actually what happened there. Betty wanted to W to Huni and then flash away. But he actually aimed it a different way because he W flashed.
Yeah, luckily for luckily for Betty, the equalizer was just barely on cooldown. But whenever you're flashing away from Rumble harpoons, you have to actually flash the harpoon. The fact that he got hit by one flash and hit by the other, just flash during the cast time. Betty has not been playing well this game. 2 fairly poor flashes.
Yeah, it feels like he's trying to watch the other side of the map where he needs to send his arrow, where it's small shots, and then constantly gets surprised. He walked up for vision and got the Varus ulti in his face. Right now he got surprised by Huni. He also, as the map opens up, he's constantly catching these sideways. Look where Betty is right now. Look where the rest of the team is. He very much so seems to be kind of just put into this lineup as an additional AD carry rather than being a true part of the team.
Well, unfortunately, he's playing Ashe. The hawk shots at least are helpful. He can help get vision for the team and do something else across the side of the map. Maybe the arrows can land afterwards. As far as chips leave alone, Ashe is one of the best, but you're right, Betty is certainly not part of the core of the team that has been doing all the work. Lowest KP on the team and all the deaths.
Now we're also looking at the way Flash Wolves beat SKT in the past. It was built on a great foundation of vision. And they're looking to neutralize SKT, find out what they're doing early. They're doing the right moves all the time, but if you figure them out early, there's always a counter.
Exactly, and I think a little bit of it is just happenstance that Flash Wolves does have a better record against SKT than many teams, but the vision control is very real for Flash Wolves. When they do get mid-game advantages, not even thinking about late game where sometimes they wait too long for the perfect play, but mid-game control ward vision denial or sweeping, even in the past, they have been better than at that than any other team. So SKT makes such good decisions, but if they don't have the information to make the decision, then you finally force them to guess, and that's some of the ways the Flash Wolves have taken down SKT.
We'll see if they can make the guesswork keep going then. Flash Wolves looking to get some vision back, looking at both sides real quick. Flash Wolves no deep wards, but SKT really none either. Only vision on their own side of the map.
And this is macro and hard mode right now, because both teams are running a 4-1 composition on an open map, which means you need to send people to side lanes that don't want to go there. Sword Art and narrowly avoids that wave.
All right, that's going to be an ultimate down and a fairly important one for SKT.
And that's why we see the buddy system. Bang can't go top alone, so he needs somebody with him. These 1-3-1s that we always talk of, they become 1-1-3s. 4-1 compositions, but we have a fight.
MMD wants to get a fight there. Bang is very far on the side, so is Wolf now in the jungle. Can they get the Shark on from max range? Looks for the shot, he's going to miss it though, and the TP turns into just walking away.
Yeah, good move by Wolf there. Incredible patience, and also a lot of respect from Karsa. Didn't even try to land the Sonic Wave because he thought Wolf would juke it or flash it. Was hoping for the fish to land.
Yeah, that top lane turret that Freak was talking about earlier, if that went down, there was actually an alternative path possible for a Fizz, you know, at least a pivot in terms of movement.
Yeah, not going to be that case there. Of course, Betty also didn't shoot the arrow out. Maybe you look for that when the team is going for the dive on Nami. Like, shoot it out, right? I feel like there's some upside there for that one. Now towards the bot side we go. MMD wants it on Huni. Can't find any of the skill shots just yet. And of course, Shark is down as well. Not a lot to get just yet. There is the arrow. It's going to hit nothing, actually. Sidesteps with Faker. MD gets the shield, looks for the front line damage. But again, with no Shark, doesn't get much shockwave. hits the front liners. Doesn't mean a lot there either. Now Maple is in, has to wait out the exhaust. They didn't go for the unleashed power. Will they go for a Wolf? Yes, they do get the kill picked off now into Huni. Nice kickback onto Peanut. That's going to be 2 for 0 so far, and Huni's next up for the chopping block. Can they get number 3? The slow is there. Yes, they do.
SKT was in a 4v5 that entire time, so Huni always one to apply pressure, but pushes up and overstays, and the rest of SKT get caught trying to do that, but they still get a ton of turret damage.
Yeah, tons of minions here going towards Bang. He's going to finish up that turret off as well. But we still need to look at how the game is progressing here. Bang needs to be careful.
Lee Sin's not terribly far behind, but Sword Art can't really duel Bang. Karsa's still coming, though. Karsa does have boots, too. But there's a lot of move speed on Bang. He's got Zeal and boots, so I think he gets away.
Yeah, there's also Faker in the river.
Yeah.
We need to keep an eye on MMD now. What can he do against Huni? So he's picking up a lot of gold in this fight. So a lot of the gold went to Bang here. Really good carry, efficient in team fights. This is the persistence from Flash. They realize they're in a 5v4 and they power on through.
Exactly. They know that Huni's very low, can't get much off in that fight. And when Faker Shockwave is down, it lowers the threat. But nearly getting a pick in the jungle.
Some damage there. No really major cooldowns burned, though. Neither ults from Faker nor Karsa. Wolf puts down the tidal wave. They're okay.
Flash will need to play with a lot of respect, though, because while Fizz is good into Rumble, bot lane, there's a teleport advantage currently available on him.
Running out. Even though the kill score is 7-2, the gold is practically identical right now. The fact that SKT are up a turret right now is a pretty important one, but one more turret does finally fall. Looks like that was in the top lane as minions chunked that one out. Yeah. Makes it back to 3-3.
And SKT being down in kills too close in gold is almost always the case because they play the map so well. But breaking down the gold advantage, it's a 1,000 gold lead for MMD, a 1,500 gold deficit for Betty. So Bang is in a position to keep trying to turn on in this game. Phantom Dancer completed as well as QSS, and on the way to the next item, you can see nearly 10,000 gold to 2020.
Yeah, but in the breaking points, macro-wise, hang on, here's another arrow, Bang gets caught, QSS.
Critical breaking point to have finished at that point.
Yeah.
That's gold lead's working for you right there. If you get the same gold as Betty, he doesn't have that item.
At the same time, Betty can still provide utility while being down gold. And it's all up to the Flashers right now to get Huni in a lane with MMD and then remain or keep out of the 4v4 neutral and have MMD pressure out, but they haven't really been able to play around him too much in this game.
They haven't just yet, but we'll see if something more comes out of it. Betty on his way towards the Quicksilver Sash, maybe Hex Drinker as time goes on. I'd personally like Hex Drinker based on the fact that it's more damage coming out of the fact that it's an Orianna and a Rumble, less CC, but we'll see. Faker holds onto the top wave. Quick Drake pickup for Flash Wolves means they're up at Infernal overall, tied on Mountains.
Yeah, but they lose kind of the push in the other two lanes. That's always how this goes. Like, you make a play somewhere, they get the minions somewhere else, and they can get some vision or some pressure. But now Huni has to flash in his bot lane, and MMD, finally, this pressure is mounting up.
Yeah, it's impressive as well that MMD is having this side lane performance. They got to pick the good matchup. Once again, SKT just blindly pick a top laner, but this time, unlike last time where it was Fiora into Nautilus, Flash Wolves had the answer, and it is working out pretty well for him.
Ooh, look at the creative play here. Bang is lingering, shadowing for Huni, and MMD respects it enough. That is constantly what you have to do. SKT, they're so good at moving the lanes constantly over and over, so you can't fall into a pattern of expectations.
And you can see this is not able to steal the blue away. Gonna go pretty securely. See if they can rotate somewhere else.
Yeah, again though, with Huni down there and Bang showing, Flash Wolves get tremendous control of the Baron area. They also have the Mountain Drake, so even though they don't have tremendous Baron killers, that Baron goes down a lot faster.
Yeah. And that is the beauty played at the highest level. It's at this point that you're not even watching the screen, you're just watching the minimap. 2 dots go bot, that means there's only 3 max in the top side. If Flash Wolves have 4 there, they can get an advantage, whether it's camps, vision, the implied Baron. There is so much going on at the same time, and these guys are constantly changing it up.
Flash Wolves is also in a point in the tournament at 2-4 up against SKT. They really want to get those wins. They're on the brink of not being able to make the top 4, but a win against SKT when no one else has been able to scratch them would be tremendous.
It would do a lot for your confidence, and especially with the fact that, again, you expect most teams lose to SKT. Like, if Flash Wolves is 2-5 after this game, it's like, well, they had the hardest schedule. They played SKT in the second round robin early on. There's still room ahead of them. If they get this win here, they're 3-4 with no SKT to play left until the playoff stage. Maybe they are in a good spot, and again, keeping that pretty important.
All right, they've done step 1. They've pushed out mid. They're moving into the river right now. Look at the 3-man squad reactionary from SKT. Not 1 buddy, but 2 you bring. But then there's the flank from Maple. Really creative pathing here, challenging, not allowing SKT to simply push out that top lane.
SKT actually on the back foot. Look where the wards are, look where the players are on the mini-map, as you mentioned, Crepo. When SKT's catching waves at their turrets, that means they're not in position to force plays.
Yeah, they hang on right now because they move Booney from bot to mid. So that obviously makes the 5v4 stronger there. Flash Wolves have to yield. So right now, Flash Wolves top side is in a defensive position, waiting for MND to put pressure. Once Hooney catches that wave, that's when they will strike back. Hopefully, some of that vision still remains for them.
See the vision control can stay up, though, despite the wave pressure back and forth. SKT just taking away as much gold as they can, and especially in games that have been a bit slow paced, right? It's 9 kills in 28 minutes. Efficiency really is very important. It's where you get most of your gold. The jungle camps dying on respawn, the minion waves not dying to turrets, you're catching them in time, and if you get chunked out, you miss 120 gold worth of minions when it gets pushed away. Now look at the play, nice dash by Peanut to get away from the ward hop, but there's the arrow, the stun on Faker, and he's been deleted. No ulti available. Wolf next up, the Shark is in. That was nicely played, 2 for 0. They've gotten control again.
They're going for Baron right here because Hooney canceled his teleport. He has Equalizer here. This may be a bait and switch. There is no vision in the pit.
SKT can make it to defend. They just put another ward down, but it is so difficult to expect the Equalizer to fly through. Will Flash Wolves finish the appeal.
There's no vision though. They could even hide in the pit right now. Peanut has to face check.
6,000 health, that's what SKT saw. There's enough time, they don't need to do much for it. And Flash Wolves, will they stay on this one? They are going to try. They do good damage, but Peanut's in range. Got to respect this though, and Flash Wolves squander the lead.
So much patience from Hooney, not equalizing, but so dangerous too. They have to guess how low the Baron is because they didn't have vision of it that whole time.
They got one glimpse of 6,000 in the middle of that. They saw, okay, it's not in smite range. We can kite away again.
They knew it was started with the blue trinket, then the Graves walked up. It's just, this was a beautiful dance from both these teams. I love the respect that's going back and forth.
Bangs down in the bot lane. Hooney's top with no JP. Peanut doesn't have anybody to come check with them.
It's a fake out. It's a bait and switch. The Flash Wolves, they fake their base. Now Peanut, he has to figure out what's going on. He knows they're in the pit because he saw the wall.
1,000 health. They're going to kick him out. He might just die to the Shark. Now, is there going to be a steal? There's no chance. Absolutely perfect by Flash Wolves. Couldn't have been better. Baron.
Flash Wolves struggled to finish Baron earlier in the tournament against G2. That was beautiful against SKT, the entire sequence.
Oh, they're so on top of the information here. Look, the push wave that we were talking about, Hooney catches, well, instant reaction Betty. He's behind in goal, but it doesn't matter. He finds Faker in this fight. MMD single-handedly wins the backline.
Arrow into stun chain, or the other way around between Maple, but that type of CC controls got Flash Wolves hyped up.
But then the fact that they don't get sucked into the hype, they don't Peanut knew that they were in the pit. So Karsa, he does the smartest play ever, goes out and kicks him in.
Yeah, first Baron SKT has conceded this entire MSI. So now it's about whether or not Flash Wolves can use it and how can SKT defend, because they still have tremendous zone control with the rest of their team composition.
This game feels like every game Flash Wolves wins against SKT. They're doing middlingly in the group stage, then somehow they just play to SKT's level. Minor mistakes here and there, yes, there have been some mechanical ones, but Flash Wolves playing appropriately, playing properly. MMD split pushing well, 3-0-2 in a tournament he's been terrible in so far. And Flash Wolves can keep this level of play up. They can.
And it forces SKT, look, they made that decision without having very much vision control. They're completely abandoning the jungle because the control wards of Flash Wolves are right there. And MMD has really been the key because that was the huge thing missing from Flash Wolves' play.
And how flexible is he? So many top laners would go top here, go for the hard push on tier 2 because that's their role, right? The split pusher, he goes top, joins mid to give assistance, to give the guarantee that Flash Wolves as a team can take bot lane tier 2.
And Flash Wolves need to keep making good choices. You can never count SKT out in this game. There's a reason they're 6-0. There's a reason they're the best team in the world. 1.5 minutes left on Baron. The lead only 3,000. How much more can Flash Wolves get with this power play?
Have to keep tracking Faker's Orianna ball because he likes to hide it in back and forth fights and then pull the trigger.
So threatening with that shockwave. It's why it's his most played champion of all time. He will always have the opportunity to make a play with it, but Flash Wolves have taken down SKT before.
See if they can do it here. A lot of Magic Pen is available for Faker. Ashe splitting in the bot lane right now. MMD near the flank, but again, you don't want to dive without your bot laner around, but it creates space though. The threat of the MMD dive has pushed SKT away, and that's the turret going down.
Yeah, but that's not what they're doing. They're just playing it so slow, and they're going for a rotation top side. This is beautiful. Slow push top, catch mid.
Great ulti.
Deal with bot lane. No, if you buff them.
And MMD was smart, exactly. Melee minions get significant damage reduction with the Baron buff on them. He jumps forward, they get the stun on Peanut. The Shark is there, he's gonna die for this one. And SKT probably should not have defended a turret 2v5. That is a mistake, and it's gonna be Flashwolves getting another turret picked up.
Absolutely, SKT not keeping up with that turret rotation. Peanut alone from the rest of his team. Wolf not close to help peel with Nami.
Oh, and I love this iteration of lane switches. It was MMD in the top lane that initially pushed his wave. He went to catch mid, while his team was bot. They didn't go 5-man mid because it's easy to hold that. They kept Betty bot lane, use that pressure, switch it top lane while somebody was dealing with it, and now they're hitting the base 5v4.
Now Huni has no equalizer, Peanut's not even alive. Flashwolves is just running right into the base.
15 seconds in the jungler, inhibitor turret is gone. When can SKT get themselves a fight? The kickback on a Faker! He's gonna flash, but he's still dead! That's 11-2 in kills, and Flashwolves looking to close out if they can do it. Peanut just now back alive, but it's still a 5v4. Baron buff on, and timing out soon enough. Looks like it's gonna be Flashwolves going for the reset, but now they're up 6,000 gold.
And a mistake from Faker, do not flash in time. You gotta respect Karsa's Lee Sin here. If he closes in, he will try to kick flash you, and you can't react, because when you get kicked, that's a frame where you're locked out.
Karsa making so many plays, as he somehow seems to do against Faker on the international stage. It's like an SKT buff, but they're still needing to close this game. They're playing at such a high level right now.
SKT have only found 2 kills and 3 turrets in this game. So while their moves were so solid, it's almost like this, it passed by us here. Only 2 deaths on Betty, and everybody else is deathless.
Watching this one more time, SKT just didn't have a good way of defending, but watch Karsa right here, just a tiny little ward jump before flash kicking Faker, and then Sword Art immediately with the W, even after Faker would flash. They are safe to blow everything on him because Huni has no equalizer at this point in the game.
You can see how excited Flashwolves are about this. They know they've had a mediocre tournament, but now taking a game against the best team in the world spells so many good things for your future.
And the group stage is 5 days long with 2 games a day. You need to be able to not tilt, and that's what this Flashwolves team talked about. They've been together for so long. The core of this team, Karsa, Maple, Sword Art, over 4 years. They've won, they've lost, they've been through it. So that's why they wanted to stay calm, find a way to adapt to the tournament meta. Get a shielding support. They didn't win lane, but mainly get that top priority. SKT disrespected them and dared them with that early pick rumble, and Flashwolves have responded with the pick and also with their in-game plays.
And they squeezed out a 5,700 gold Baron power play against SKT, a team that knows how to defend and minimize their losses. When they do make those few mistakes, they're far in between. What a fantastic performance. Even if Flashwolves somehow lose track here, they've done great things in this game.
You can't let this game go. If you lose this one, I think you actually are so heartbroken, because there's got to be so much faith and happiness in your heart right now if you're Flashwolves or a Flashwolves fan. You're like, we're beating SKT, just don't screw up, and oh baby, it's going to be great. And if it does slip, I feel like you are so shattered. The likeliness is slow. Sorry, the likelihood is very low. I misspoke, but they are in such a good position.
Yeah, and with Baron buff up again in 50 seconds and double Mountain for Flashwolves, the threat of the Baron does insert a sense of panic into SKT when they're trying to check the pit. It's also interesting how most teams go with double scrying orb at this point of the game. They're actually triple sweeper on SKT. They're so concerned about being seen by wards that they're kind of giving up some of their vision.
Yeah, they're putting the goal or the direction here to keep their jungle defended with the multiple sweepers in different iterations. The problem is they have a hard time face checking it. Look at Flashwolves as well. Right now they're condensed. As 5, they're getting top jungle control, but I would love to see MMD now move to the bottom side of the map and push there and put pressure as it's Fizz.
Splits up soon enough, or Flash will just keep everyone together and just decide to never have the chance to be split up. And
they may just commit. They also have a very few control wards. Some of these guys are maxed out in items. For example, there's a potion on Maple. Apparently he still needs that biscuit. No control ward there.
Yep. We'll see SKT coming down through the mid lane, looking into the river. Looks like SKT does want to contest on this Baron. MMD is tanking it. He's getting some MR and armor shredded off as well.
If SKT are ever going to fight their way back in the game, this would be it.
Back walks into tank it. The QSS, and the Shark's not going to land either.
Such a smart move right there by Bang. A flashless AD stepping in front of an Ashe Arrow because he has QSS, but now that is down, and there are other ways Flashwolves can initiate.
But now the D-Tom is actually moving in Flashwolves' favor, because look at the top lane. Minions are amassing. While usually 5v5 is great if you don't have side lane pressure, SKT need to deal with that top lane somehow.
So Huni's recalling. There are some wards around. Carson waiting in the wings, sees Peanut. Decides he's not going to go for the fight just yet. Huni just going to clear minions in the base, and they're given time for it.
He still does have teleport, though. SKT will need to get a good ward down for him to TP on. He can come behind with that.
Finishing it.
Beautiful by Carson. Gets him away, gets him back, and it gets him out. Nicely done. Kicks Peanut, gets the smite now on the Wolf to smite it down by the unleashed power of Maple.
Yeah, Jack was right on the money. There weren't enough scrying orbs to get vision. There was no knowledge here, and because it's so late in the game, they could easily tank that Nasher. Huni is playing janitor in the base, but they've lost their support.
And the gameplay by Maple there, 7 orb ultimate, just straight up one-shots Wolf in the end. Now Baron in a 5v4, they get it on Faker.
Start gonna Faker, plenty of damage, Shockwave by some time. Equalizer gets not a lot done. Karsa still wants in, he's tanky enough. 5v4, they've got the middle inhibitor turret down.
Now look at the discipline here. MMD was called back by his team. They just said, no, focus in it first. Another arrow back, no QSS.
No QSS, none is there, the damage output's in. They're gonna knock down the bot laner. Huni's next up on it. And he's gonna pop Zonias, but he's gonna die for this one. Not even a chance of getting out. And Flash Wolves have done it. They have taken down SKT. They have handed them their first loss of the mid-season Invitational. Maple Vein plays one more down, and it's Flash Wolves giving up only 2 kills the entire game, improve to 3 and 4, and take down the best team in the world.
And what a huge victory for Flash Wolves. It's one thing to take down SKT, but also in the context of the struggles they have been having in this tournament. They were 2 and 4 coming into this game, and SKT were looking like gods. They take them down and improve to 3 and 4.
Literally goosebumps. So many moments of greatness. It started in Pix and Ban when they got the Fizz, but they banned out the Echo and they told SKT, you know what, we're gonna pick Syndra, like Freak pointed out right there. The Orianna wasn't enough to combat it, but the true beauty for me was in those Baron setups. The way Karsa kept track of Peanut and just kicked him out twice.
And where was this Flash Wolves the rest of the tournament? Because it's almost like they put their SKT skins on. We were talking about all these things SKT was doing well. They control vision, they force you into bad decisions, they're always pushing side lanes, they're never letting you have a chance for a good choice. Flash Wolves was doing all of those things with those last 2 Baron secures.
2 major things that I saw. MMD getting a good matchup and being set up for success. He got the gank at level 6 and was able to just keep the lead. He was able to stand up against Huni. Top 3 top laners in the world at the very least. You got to consider Huni to be. MMD, probably not even top 3 in the LMS. But with a good matchup, he's able to withstand that. Yeah, okay, sure, but he still had a hard time in the bot lane. But Maple had a good matchup, one of the best mid laners in the world. Karsa had one of his comfortable champions, and those 2 were able to just take the map over. And when Flash Wolves win, they play a controlled game, and they did.
Yeah, in all the ways we wanted to say the Flash Wolves adapted to the tournament meta, their core has been Karsa and Maple. Lee Sin, Syndra do have the presence in that game, and as far as the split push allowed them to get there, but they controlled the Baron with the Syndra Lee Sin.
Yeah, special shout out to that teleport from MMD though. They got the Faker fail flash. That was the turning point. Yep. So well played.
Yeah, definitely were mistakes for SKT, but either way, it took the Flash Wolves playing well to win it, so congrats to them, and now it's time for analysts to break that down further. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Freak. This is the Flash Wolves that we expected to see starting on day 1 of the tournament. They turn it on here and they end the dream of the perfect tournament for SKT with this victory. But let's look at how they did it, because we talked about the weaknesses that for this team and what could be exposed in MMD in the top lane. Can he play those fighters? Can they get him off of tanks? How would they draft around both him and Betty? Well, they secure that Fizz in the face of a Rumble blind pick, and they take it to him.
Yeah, I think the pick and ban here was genius. I tweeted out, I think that Flash Wolves won this draft, and the big reason was around MMD, because this was a game where MMD had priority. On a simple level, Rumble was blind picked. We saw the stat in-game, Huni's 10-0. You're feeling good about it. The Fizz is taken. It's much more nuanced than just Fizz beats Rumble, because we know that. We've seen that already this tournament. Consider what happened here. So Fizz is taken away. Already in the pick ban, Lulu is banned. Karma is taken first pick. The Syndra pick that we heard Crepo talking about is so important, because Fizz is also a flex to mid lane to take down Syndra. It's a counter pick to Syndra. And if you think of what Faker has played against Syndra recently, it's those utility mids. He played them against LeBlanc in the final, and it's very much the Fizz. So that's all taken away. So it's kind of a blocker pick to Syndra. Then they ban Echo in the second round, and they get a Syndra blind pick for free. Only thing left for Faker, he goes for Orianna, which we know in terms of pressure in the lane, it's not fantastic. And also, look down the lineup. They didn't take Lee Sin when it was available. It was Graves. So when we think of ball carriers, there's literally nothing on the side of SKT. No front line, which was exploited around the Baron. In general, I think this draft was just beautiful stuff from Flash Wolves. And like they said, I wonder where this Flash Wolves was earlier.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. I do want to point out, though, that I feel like SKT, it really went, like, sideways for them. Like, blind pick Rumble, you can understand it's Hooney's Rumble of all things. You had the confidence there, but it goes sideways around second rotation ban. The Thresh Caitlyn, like, that could have very easily been a Cinder. You know, why are you taking away the Caitlyn? Why do you think that you need to protect Wolf and Bang so much? They're so good at absorbing, even in losing matchups. So I think if Koma's really going to circle a point in draft phase, it's going to be right there.
Yeah, definitely have to agree. Huge victory in the draft phase, but my goodness, the execution from Flash Wolves as well. We were harping on MMD no matter. I didn't really care, you know, what matchups, even if you try to protect him in draft, what he was going to get. I would still say that that was going to be a weakness heading into this matchup, but with the jungle support that you mentioned, really big change in performance from him.
Gets that attention top lane. Krepo mentioned some of the TPs that were coming in for him for the team fights. I want to look at a couple plays here. The first up, our Acer replay in the bot lane. 3 for 0. Flash Wolves extended chase here onto SKT.
So here's the thing. Take a look at the side lanes. If SKT are the Globetrotters of League of Legends, Flash Wolves right now are the Mighty Ducks. Like, 1v1, 2v2, they're not as strong. But when they're in their flying V formation, they just run through you. Their side lanes were getting pushed in. They were losing control of the map. You can see Bang's actually in the top lane. But they finally find SKT and they decide enough is enough. We're not going to let them tear us apart. We're going to fight you 5v5.
And one of the things that you were harping on WE for was, you know, lane allocation. They have the Varus all the way in the top lane while pushing very, very heavily with the 4-man squad. That can only be a 4-man squad for SKT. There's no world, you know, that Varus is able to get over there in the amount of time. So Flash Wolves, really good job taking that initiative and forcing the fight, being able to catch that 4 versus 5 fight.
But I mean, we complimented SKT on playing on the Razor's Edge in previous games where they were making trades without perfect knowledge, when we criticized a lot of teams this tournament for not taking controlled risks, for instead just looking for the perfect play. Varus was pushing up. They were trying to disengage but keep them interested to trade up, because a lot of this game, Flash Wolves felt like they were winning, but the gold lead, it was 1,000, it was 2,000. They thought they were playing with 5, then Karsa comes in with the big kick. They actually get the 3 kills, and then SKT looks silly.
I mean, even after that fight, right, you mentioned the gold lead very close, so it was all about the Baron plays from Flash Wolves, control of 2 different Barons. We're going to take a look at one of them here, but they played around this beautifully.
Karsa especially. I know that Maple was making some crazy plays as well. Like you said, great arrows, great teleports, but Karsa on Lee Sin was just gorgeous to watch in all of these exchanges.
And again, I love MMD having the guts to TP in and 0 people out in the back line.
Goes over the back, gonna kick Peanut away, back into the Baron. All right, I got this.
And the plays were so good, and there was another Baron take we saw where they just soloed it down with the DPS, and the whole time Karsa was over the wall, and you think, why? Why can they never get vision? SKT doesn't have anyone who can ward. No frontliner here. It's very much a KT rolls to SComp when you have Rumble in the top, no tank. They could never put down wards, so both Barons ended up being flawless execution by Flash Wolves.
And here's the thing. Here's a couple fun stats for you. This is the fewest kills for SKT in MSI history in a single game. Their previous fewest kills was 3 against the Flash Wolves last year in a loss. Faker has also not had a game in MSI history with 0 kills and 0 assists. But isn't it just crazy that that's what you have to do to SKT in order to take a win off of them?
It's crazy. You know, coming into this, I almost wanted to debunk the fact that Flash Wolves were like the SKT kryptonite, because I went back, I watched their games. You know, they were 3-1 historically, now 4-1 with this victory. And I was like, you know, but Blank played in 3 of those losses. Bengi came in and Flash was pulled it back. But they just, for whatever reason, their vision, it gets underneath SKT, and suddenly they're, you know, sitting in a bush as Faker's coming around Wolf Pit, just killing him out of nowhere. And you can kind of see him getting frustrated. And they do it time and time again.
And just to wrap up, one thing I really want to say here is that SKT, you know, they finally dropped a game. And it's a really important thing. I'm actually happy to see Flash Wolves play this well, draft this well, because the importance of SKT's victory is on the contenders, on who they're facing. For there actually to be a team that can suss out their weaknesses and exploit them makes this tournament so much more hype, because now what we thought we could take for granted is suddenly a little bit up in the air.
I mean, it's a beautiful win by the Flash Wolves that we expected to see coming into the tournament. The question is, will it be enough to dig them out of the hole that they're in? For the inside story on that upset win, though, let's check in with Shox and the Flash Wolves support.
Well, thank you very much, guys. And of course, I had to grab one of the Flash Wolves, and it's Sword Art here with me. And, well, congratulations up first. What an amazing performance. And the first thing I want to ask you is, between kind of the horrible loss to G2 yesterday, which was the worst loss of the tournament, to coming back today and beating the world champion, what happened with the Flash Wolves overnight?
首先恭喜你们获得刚刚那一场比赛胜利。你们昨天输给了 G2， 但是今天又打赢了 SKT。你们在昨天晚上做了什么样的改变呢？
昨天晚上其实也没做什么改变，然后最主要是的话，我觉得是因为我们这场的话，我们有让卡萨去做一些前期的滚动风向，然后我们线上又有稳住，所以我们才能打得好。
I don't think we did that much change overnight, but in this game we were able to let Karsa play really aggressively and snowball in an early game. Plus our top lane was very, very stable, and that led us to victory.
Yeah, some other teams have been able to get those early victories versus SKT, but no team has been able to close it out. How much of like the history of you guys playing versus SKT gives you confidence in games like this?
我们发现很多队伍在 MSI 的时候都有办法在前期打赢 SKT， 但在之后的话比较难获得胜利。那以你们之前的战绩对上 SKT， 对你们结束这场游戏的信心有多大？
我觉得其实我们会赢 SKT， 我觉得有一点是风格上面的克制吧，因为他们打得很自私化，就是很稳定，但是我们会打得很进攻，所以我们有的时候可以抓到他们一些破口。
I think we were able to win against SKT is because of the play style. They were playing very conservative at a very standardized place, but we were able to play aggressively and find those advantages.
Yeah, I do want to put the spotlight on your performance, as it was fantastic, and it has gone quite up and down and not ideal for the Flash Wolves up until now. So what are you going to take for this win, and how are you going to convert this and make sure that the Flash Wolves stay playing like this and make it to the next round?
闪电狼这几天的表现上上下下，那你们获得这场胜利之后，对你们来讲有士气上有增加吗？
对我们队友来说，一定是有很大的增加。然后我希望我们接下来每一场比赛都可以打得很精彩。
It's definitely a moral boost, confidence boost for all of us, and hopefully in the upcoming games we can perform really well.
Well, definitely the Flash Wolves fighting. Thank you very much, and congratulations, Sword Art. We are going to take a quick break, but when we come back, Gigabyte Marines take on G2. Don't go anywhere.
Well, here comes the fish when he puts the ulti down, layers it pretty beautiful. The kick to get him off, and that's going to be the kill picked up. Why did Huni even bother flashing?
And this actually allows Flash Wolves to get aggressive. MMD, unanswered.
Oh, and Faker! We talked about the best players in the world, but that was not even close to that flash being on the wall. Will they go for a Wolf? Yes, they do get the kill picked off now on Huni. Nice kick back onto Peanut. That's going to be 2 for 0 so far, and Huni's next up for the chopping block. Can they get number 3? The slow is there. Yes, they do.
And he knows they're in the pit because he saw the wall.
In hell, they're going to kick him out. He might just die to the shark. Now, is there going to be a steal? There's no chance. Absolutely perfect by Flash Wolves. Couldn't have been better. And Flash Wolves have done it. They have taken down SKT. They have handed them their first loss of the mid-season Invitational. Maple Game plays one more down, and it's Flash Wolves giving up only 2 kills the entire game, improve to 3 and 4, and take down the best team in the world.